game day, buddy. Let's do this thing.
Yes, it is.
All right. How is everybody? Hopefully you're good. A little pregame chat with my boy T. Lizzie and you, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing. Yeah, man. I had the kids doing the sports this morning, and nice cool weather, and everybody chilling out, and then got back here and about to cook some food when we get done here while I watch the game. It'll keep me busy.
Nice.
And yeah, man, I'm in a good mood.
What's on the menu?
I have a bunch of shrimp and a huge piece of salmon with some pesto butter that I'm going to put on it, and it's going to be damn delicious. And then I've got a bunch of other stuff that I'm going to cook for sides. Kind of like I've got it set up where my grill out back over here to the left can see in, and so it helps me when I'm nervous in big games to cook.
Yep.
I go out there and do a little grilling, and pop a beer, walk around a little bit. I got the whole backyard to kind of just make things happen. But I'm good to go. So.
There you go. Yeah, you got to have your pacing space for a day like this, man. And,
yeah, I really do. By the way, we see all your hellos there on the chat. Hello to everybody who has said that to us as well. Appreciate that. And yeah, let's get it on. I saw where pitches tied it up 31-all against Miami. So I don't have that on because believe it or not, it's the ACC network, and I almost refuse to watch. But Tom, you've got that there on the YouTube. So
yeah, I'm about probably 30 seconds behind if anybody's got it on regular television on the live chat. So right now I have it at 2nd and about 5 at the 45-yard line for Miami. Yeah,
it's been a no defense kind of day, a defense is optional kind of day. And I would also say this: I'm looking at. I've got both Michigan State on. I've got Wisconsin, Iowa on. Which, good God, that's just not pretty. It's just bad offensive football. Baylor, Texas has been fun too. So yeah, I've got them all going on right now. So we're having a good time.
So I guess we can start right here. Obviously, the guys are up there. It's Ira, Corey, Aslan's there, and Austin is there. So we sent a 4-pack of our best up to Clemson, and they took a little video of the Noles arriving. That's on Twitter today. Let me hit the play button it's a little bumpy start, but you can see the guys coming off of the bus, and here they are as they arrived.
There we go.
I don't know why that's playing the sound. I tried to mute that, but oh, look at this. Are we going to fail here? Come on, Twitter. You know how Twitter does. You hit the video. Facebook Live does this all the time, too. Like, you hit the video, and it just rejects you completely. Boy, oh, boy, this is a fail. You know what I'll do? I'll pivot to the updates from Ira from the stadium. Let's just pull that down. That was failure.
By the way, Gator Kirk, this is from a golf tournament that Tom and I just played in, and is most definitely not of the realm that you're thinking. Just let me put it that way.
So there we go. We don't have offensive linemen spotted just yet. These updates are as of 10 minutes ago from Ira. And obviously, guys, if you haven't done so yet and you're a subscriber to the YouTube channel, make sure that warchant.com is your home for Florida State coverage, because then you'll get threads like this every game day where the guys from the press box will get the binoculars out. That's Ira's specialty. They'll check out what's going on the sidelines, and you get to know your actives and inactives. In the COVID year last year, that was invaluable. And on a day like today, where everybody's watching to see if 75 in white is going to be a member of the starting group on the offensive line, you want to pay attention. But it looks like most everything is routine. They had to turn up the PA noise in Death Valley because the marching chiefs were so damn loud. Love hearing that. And they didn't spot Andrew Parchment early. That's about it. So it's a routine warm-up. Looks like it's going to be a cold and windy day up there, and it might be a little bit of rain, buddy. I think that's advantage us. What do you think?
Yeah, I would think. I'm really interested to see the mood. I think early on it's important, obviously, to play smart, play to what you are. Don't anybody try to do anything that's really kind of above and beyond their responsibility. And I think at that point, if you play a little field position and let the game kind of, you feel each other out early. And if this thing is 7-7, 0-0 in the second quarter, something like that, yeah, I'll start to feel better and better.
Yeah.
because Clemson, at this point, Clemson has probably become pretty frustrated with their week-to-week situation offensively. And if they get further indicators early on that it's not any different today either, then yes, definitely advantage us. I'm like you. I've been worried because of a couple of factors. Wanting to know if Dylan Gibbons was going to play, and then also, Clemson has a lot of talent, and I've worried about, is it the Shipley kid?
Yep. Yep.
Like he is really quick and he is really shifty, and I feel like he's on the precipice of something big for them. So I need our front four to play big here. This early part of the game, make some early stops and get them thinking a little bit here.
Yeah, no, agreed. Listen, if we don't fill properly and you've got a one-cut runner who's got the burst to get through the line of scrimmage at an elite level, and Shipley was a 5-star in some services. Rivals had him as the number 1 player in the state of North Carolina last year, number 1 all-purpose back in the country. He's got the skills. Hopefully he doesn't bring his hands with him today. He's been targeted 7 times this year. He has 2 drops, one of which was a wide-open touchdown in Pitt. And Miami went right down the field, dude. They went right down the field to score. So it's 38-31.
Look at this. We've got such kind viewers and listeners. Vishal Patel doing the right thing. We can just say thank you so much.
Thank you, Vishal, man. You're always there on game day for us. We appreciate that.
Appreciate you very much, man. Very much. It is great to see you as well. And yeah, man. Hey, listen, I'm not worried about I can see it right now. The guys in the chat are bringing it up. I get you, man. I don't want Miami suddenly finding themselves either. It appears they have. They are fighting. That's fine, man. We can't fucking worry about Miami. We got a game against Clemson today. You got to find a way to play smart. Give yourself a chance in the second half. And if we continue to get better, if you get to 4 wins in a row, including a road win against Clemson, then we'll worry about the Miami game later. I think there's just a lot for us to accomplish right now. I'm not going to worry about those guys. Besides, you never know with them. Something else could make them quit at any point.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm still scrolling around looking to see, man. Everybody's on Dylan Gibbons' watch. We don't have an answer just yet. I see it in the chat. People are asking. Trust us. That's the number 1 thing we're looking for, too. Yeah, man, I'm very confused now with what I'm watching. Of course, NC State is banged up, so they should be a banged up group that's coming down here on the road. If you look at the splits, what they do at home versus what they do on the road, they're very different. But I don't know what to make of that game with Miami last week. I don't know if I feel better about our game with Clemson today because Pitt's giving up a ton of points to Miami, who's only finding itself, and Clemson had a real hard time scoring. So I think it's all going to become clear to us over the next couple of weeks and certainly in the next few hours today. But in a weird way, I think I do feel a little bit better about our defense and offense going against a group that, had a really hard time with Pitt. I mean, it's either really impressive what Miami's doing to Pitt, or it's a wake-up call that the ACC is just sorry across the board, and it doesn't matter what team, Coastal or Atlantic, even if they're the top dog, they're very, very beatable.
I think it's that. I think this league is ass. I don't think that there's anybody who can really play in this league right now. Now, Clemson, when Wright has the most talent of anybody, but they're obviously something else is wrong. In addition to a lot of new starters and injuries on the offensive line and whatever else, they've got something going on between the ears there as well. Yeah. And then I think you just look around week to week. There's no telling. Even NC State, Tom, before all the injuries, they had the game where they went on the road against Mississippi State and basically middle of the second quarter quit. And I watched that game because I had interest in that game, if you know what I mean. And,
I'm sure you did.
So I'm telling you, every one of the teams in this league is fully capable of just not showing up on a given day. Yep. Where just you think and then you start watching the game and you think, are you kidding me? Are you guys – that's what you're going to do today? I mean, think about what people thought early in the year when Virginia Tech knocked off North Carolina. And, Virginia Tech started the year with a defensive front that looked like it was going to be able to play every Saturday. It looked like it would be able to travel, stop the run. Virginia Tech's a mess. I mean, yep. we don't, they're on the cusp of firing their coach. North Carolina, as you correctly guessed before the season, it turned out to be a fraud. We started the year 0-4, and whatever progress we thought we were going to see, there we were, crestfallen, and then turned it around and won 3 straight and found an identity. You can do this with every team in the league. I mean, even Syracuse is a team that I thought would be horrific going into this season. I thought there was a chance they could go 1-11. They're a better team than I would have guessed them to be. They're not good, but they're definitely serviceable. They can run the ball. They play pretty good defense, to be honest with you. Our win against them looks more and more impressive all the time in a weird way.
It does.
So, this is just a crazy league. Wake Forest's defense is now so injury riddled that they give up 30 plus to just about anybody with a pulse now. So I don't, Army dropped 50 whatever on them. I just don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can know week to week. It's just weird. So I've gotten to where I just laser focus on us and try to see if we're getting better and kind of finding more ways to button things up and play more disciplined and more intelligent. And so far, the last 3 weeks, the answer has been yes.
Totally. Well, and they're together too. It's spirited. You're picking each other up, and that's the thing that's going to be necessary today. Is all of those little details, and I've circled them every which way on the Warchant.com network of coverage. It's the one play with Toafili that is the embodiment of what we've seen since the second half of Louisville, which is you're looking to make a play for your brother, even if you don't have the ball. You're looking to make a play for your brother, even if you can't make the tackle. You're going to fill to allow your teammate to make the play. There's a bunch of guys who are buying into the team concept in a way that we haven't seen here since maybe the 2015 season. I think it's lazy to fall back always to 2013. That 2015 team was flawed, but they played together, especially once Everett Golson came out of the lineup. They like playing harder for Sean, for sure. But, think about that. It's been about 6 years since you saw 3 consecutive games, maybe 3.5 games where guys are doing all the right things. Are they limited? Hell yeah, they are. They're extremely flawed, but they're going to be the best possible version of themselves the rest of the way. And that's all you can ask for. And that should be enough to flirt with, maybe a bowl bid. And maybe you've got 5 wins going to the final week against Florida, and you might not win that game, but it puts you in position to at least, completely flip the script when you're talking to recruits, which is another key today. Just don't put yourself in a position where the recruits get disinterested in us. Go up there, show out. If you win, great. If you don't, play hard and give them something to buy into.
I think too, just the playing together aspect is something that goes a long way. I think that there, even for fans, you can handle that your talent gap is where it's at, but you can't handle it if they're not likable as well. And we've had some teams that lost games that also weren't likable. I went up and traveled to that Virginia game that we lost and got down there towards the end and looked absolutely confused. But everything about that team was not real likable. This group has, because they've stayed the course, because they've bought in, and because they've continued to play for each other. I think you want them to have some success because you're rooting for them. You're not just rooting for your school, is what I'm saying. Like, we're rooting for our school, of course we are, but beyond just rooting for the school, you like a lot of these kids. I like a lot of these kids, and I like what they've done and what they've committed themselves to. So when they get an opportunity like this, where they are playing so hard and they've begun to see some rewards for playing hard together and sacrificing for one another, you want something big for them to happen, something good, and this would be huge. I was asked yesterday, our friend Walt Teptula up there.
I heard that he kept you the whole hour.
He kept me about a good 30 minutes or something like that, 35 minutes, whatever it was. But
let's see, Bill asking you a question before the hard out of the top of the hour too. I saw that. He's like, tell me what you think the score is going to be. He's like, Jeff, I'm out of time. I'm like, dude, it's Radio 101. What are you doing?
Yeah. No, we got caught up, I guess. I think I may be more long-winded as a guest than a lot of his guests are. But I said basically, I did pick Clemson to win the game, and I stuck with my 23-14 prediction. But I did say, and repeated what I've said on the air all week on the Jeff Cameron show, is that I am not summarily dismissing us. I think we could win the game. I would be pleasantly surprised and wrong, and I'd be happy to be but I don't. There have been games where I thought, man, we're going to get blown out. And I don't feel that way today. I don't feel that way at all. And I don't think it's irrational to think that Florida State can win. So when people say, no, man, we're going to win, I'm not pushing back vehemently. I just foresee some issues up front that will not allow us to run the way that we have in the last few weeks. I don't know. Now, if they do run here today, Tom, against this group, and they create those angles, or formationally they find mismatches where they're able to find ways to get your athletes out on the edges and make plays, whether that's Jordan, whether that's Trayshawn Ward, whomever, then you know what, buddy? I'll be convinced that they can run against almost anybody. Now, Norvell did that at Memphis. He had guys that could really run the football, and they schemed it up. They do a good job of outflanking people, and really they move in a lot of ways. Formationally, they find ways to get outside and make plays and create new gaps. So maybe that's just something that we see from this group. They've committed themselves to it in such a way that they probably are delving deep into their imagination at this point in the
Yeah.
run game. Because if you're going to run 80-20, you're going to have to really spruce it up. You're going to have to do a lot of eye candy there to try to create new ways to run the football.
Yeah, a couple of updates real quick. Yeah, if you can run today, you can run on anybody. Just saw about 3-4 minutes ago, Pitt gave up a sack to Miami. They were just on the other side of the 50-yard line. They had 2nd and 23, buddy, and they ran a straight run up the middle out of the gun. I mean, I don't know what the hell it was. It was a lazy-looking run. It was kind of like a draw. They get 25 yards on the play. First down on 2nd and 23. They also just converted a 4th and 1. They've got it's now 3rd and goal at the 5-yard line. So a Big 12 game is broken out there. Then Ira, I quoted at the bottom here. Here's his update from 240, which is quarterbacks are out throwing. Some of the returners have come out as well. No noticeable absences. They did spot Andrew Parchment, so there was nothing to worry about there. The linemen are coming out soon. They've seen the centers come out, buddy. It's like these updates, we're arriving to the place where we're going to know, is Dylan Gibbons going to be available or not today, but we're not quite there yet. Ira's last update from the boards at warchant.com at 2:45. So we are waiting with bated breath. We're white on white today, by the way. White jerseys, white pants. What do you think?
Clean. I love it. I love when we do this, man. I love our white on whites. I think they're beautiful. I also think it's, regal with the garnet on the shoulders. I love that look, and we play well. We play well in those, so I'm good. I'm ready to go with that. It's a good look. Good choice, Mike. Good choice.
4th and goal. Pitt kicks it. I don't know what yard line they were on. It's 38-34 with 13:55 to go up at Heinz Field. So
maybe they were on the 5 there. If that was still the 5, I guess they would have kicked it too. But yeah, your defense ain't exactly getting stops. So
yeah.
Let's see. But there's still got a whole quarter there to go, basically, right?
Oh, yeah, that thing's going to get probably high 40s, low 50s apiece. Daryl asked a little bit earlier, did you wake up feeling any better today? Anything different about your game day and how you feel about how this is going to play out?
I took it easy last night, didn't do much. I watched the baseball game. I was happy for Corey and Brady, his son, and I know they were at the game, so I was rooting for them to get to see a win. Hell, for a while there, I was rooting for them to see a no-hitter.
Yeah.
But I watched that, and then I went to bed. Wanted to get a good night's rest, get up in the morning, go watch my boys play their sports and cheer them on, which I did. I tried to block the game out of my mind for now. I was really excited about some of these early games, and I thought, okay, let's just put it in the back burner for as long as we possibly can. But now I'm just nervous. Now I'm just nervous. I don't know that I feel all that different. I still think that it's a hard-fought game and a close game, and one that I'm a little worried about us being able to score enough points. And I know that sounds so trivial and banal, but I just don't know how we're going to sustain drives, and I don't know how many big plays we're going to hit. So I just know that when you get that opportunity, you got to hit it. You got to hit it. Gibbons and DLT are dressed and about to take warm-ups. That is huge.
I just got that text from Ira, so I'm glad to know that he's maybe tuned in or maybe not, but he texted me and he said we'll see if they if obviously they play, if they're maybe it's a game time decision and they're going through warm-ups. So obviously stick with us at warchant.com. Stick with us right here on the Warchant pregame chat for more updates. But at the very least, these guys are not in street clothes. Dylan Gibbons and DLT have their uniforms on, and they're about to go through warm-ups. So that's a good sign.
DLT, I saw DLT on the sideline and last week, and he was dressed with his helmet on, walking around fully uniformed, and looked like he could have played if he needed to. I don't know. It's different to walk around in your uniform on a sideline than it is to block somebody, but he looked like he was ready to go, almost anxious to get in the game, like he thought he was going to get put in the game. So I think they just held him out for precautionary reasons. And then I also think that with Dylan Gibbons, man, if we have to hope that it's just a pain tolerance thing and not an injury. If it's a pain tolerance thing, guys, you hear me say it all the time, Toradol, you shoot that sucker up and let's roll. Listen, all these guys long term are going to be in pain when they're in their 50s. That's just it. That's a football player. Let's go. You got to win a window, man. Let's go. But if it's an injury, obviously that's a different deal. So I'm crossing my fingers that he's ready to go. Yeah, and also I did see, Eric, you brought it up. Yes, we did beat North Carolina with the white on white, and I love it. I just think it's a great look. So I'm absolutely excited about the fact that they're wearing that. Doesn't mean we're going to win the game. Doesn't mean it changes the outcome in any way, shape, or form, good or bad. But I just like the look. Also, Darren is saying here in the chat that Gibbons jogged onto the field.
Oh, all right.
Okay, so I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
If a man jogged onto the field, well, you're asking how I'm feeling. I'm feeling better.
Yeah, he didn't penguin walk. He didn't, he didn't walk like your old teacher who had the football injury back in 1972. Who was teaching you biology. That's a good sign. Yeah, that's good.
Man, if that's accurate and Gibbons is good to go, and we've got more people reporting they think that's a real thing, that's a big deal, guys. That kid has played. When we go back and watch the games, and I know a lot of you do too, he's played well. He just straight up has played well. Good job, by the way. So in my
Clemson fans right now are like, oh my, man, they're calling their friends. Gibbons is in. Oh no.
Yeah, the one of McConaughey, that would have been me, Tom, at 24 years old, getting ready to go into the game. Was a bit reckless in my 20s.
Yeah. Well, and then here's you at 24 years old the day after the game. Ready for this?
Yeah.
There you
go. Yeah. That's me the next morning on the couch in my apartment. Ooh, got a little loose.
So let me ask you this, because this will help you tell the story of the game. I put my Sporting Noles feature out there. I went 1-2 in UMass week. That's impossible, man. To handicap over-unders on the UMass. I didn't bet those. You can trust me on that.
Mm-hmm.
The number for Jayshawn Corbin on prizepicks.com. Our partner who sponsors the Sunday Smash, I should also promo that real quick. So many things happening here this weekend on Warchant TV and warchant.com. But that is a special 6 o'clock start tomorrow night. Special 6 p.m. start for Halloween. So we can do the show, interact with everybody, talk about that big win today against Clemson, and then your kids can go out and get that trick-or-treating done.
My guess, by the way, my guess is going to be that you will, if you're tuned into the Sunday Smash, you will hear my dogs frequently. I think this is going to be a tough one to get through. Yeah, this will be a tough one to get through.
Think of that. Oh, my
trick or treat, man. It's crazy. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. All right. So I'll have that mute button happy, and we'll have a graphic that says Jeff's dogs are at it again.
I can send you a picture of both Steve and Maggie, and you can just post them up there, like when you hear them barking. Yeah, that's it. So I'm hearing a sauntering. I'm hearing a jog for Dylan Gibbons. I'm hearing it's good, man. I'm laughing about these.
All right. So here's the number for Jayshawn Corbin this week that they set at prizepicks.com. 78.5. 78.5 rushing yards. What do you think?
Well, if Florida State wins, he's got. I mean, if Florida State's going to win, I think he's got to be over that.
Yeah.
But
do you think he does though? See, now I'm trying to gauge through prop betting.
No, I'm going to go under. I'm going to go under. I don't think he gets to 78 yards rushing. But listen, that may be because of the three-headed monster that is our offensive backfield. I mean,
yeah.
I guess the better way of me saying it is that Florida State has to rush for more than 78 yards if they're going to win. So how you get there, I mean, I think they're going to have to rush for over 200 yards if they're going to win. You got yourself a beer.
I did. Yeah. Just a little.
Just like a light beer from our friends out in San Diego.
That's right. Yeah, it's a San Diego brewery. It looks like a prop, but it's actually.
By the way, they don't sponsor, but they should. There you go. That's what I'm about to pop.
Oh, nice. All right.
Well, I haven't had a beer in a few days, and can you believe that, everybody? It's crazy. There you go.
Corbin's season high. His season high for most carries in a game is 15. That's it. So to your point,
say that again. I'm sorry, I was popping the beer.
His his season high for most carries in a game is 15. He's cleared 78.5 yards 4 times this season in 7 games, but 15 carries is the most he's had. Now, if you're going to give him 20, today's the damn day to do it. But to your point about sharing the load, that's if he's at 15, then he's going to have to break a big one to get to that number. Before we get to the other props, we're going live. We are live in Death Valley.
What's up, boys? How's
What's going on, Ira? How are you, brother?
Good, man. Can you guys hear me okay? Look, I've got a guest, another guest over here.
Here we go. It is good to see you both. I tell Corey that I was rooting for him and Brady last night as I knew they were at the game. I was hoping they were going to get the no-hitter.
Dude, I'll tell him. We have a battle of the bands right now. The Marching Chiefs are playing in one end zone, so the PA keeps jacking up the stadium PA to kind of drown them out. So it's a pretty cool environment.
The Chiefs have caused the disruption. It's a beautiful thing.
They have.
So what I'll do real quick, what I'll do, Jeff, when you're asking questions, I'll mute Ira because it's loud as hell in the PA, so people can hear it, and then I will unmute him. So this can't be a crosstalk situation. It's producing on the fly, but go for it. So
Ira, I'll ask the first question. You can mute him there while I ask this. You saw Dylan Gibbons come out onto the field. The folks in the chat want to know, was he jogging? Was he sauntering? Was he skipping? Was he running? What was he doing?
It was more of a saunter than a jaunt. He's moving around. They're going through the offensive line drills right now, and he's standing there. He's between Maurice Smith and Darius Washington. It looks like he's going to give it a go. Now, we've seen it before. I think Robert Scott in the Wake Forest game came out and went through some of the warm-ups, and ended up being pulled right before the start. But right now, it looks like he's intending to start at left tackle or left guard, and Devontae Love-Taylor looks fine at right guard. So I think that's going to be your starting offensive line.
Tom, if you want to ask, go for it. I'll shut up so you can ask.
That's really important because if both of those guys play, give it a go, then Bavion Johnson's your first guy up off the bench. You actually have a little bit of depth today. Ira, you mentioned I saw that Andrew Parchment, you didn't see him in the beginning, but then later on he came out with the team. There are no other notable absences at this time. Is that right?
Nothing major that we've seen. A couple of the defensive backs who we've been wondering about. It doesn't look like Sidney Williams is dressed out today. He's been kind of in and out of practice. I don't think he's missed some time the last couple of weeks. It doesn't look like he's dressed today. And also, it doesn't look like Renardo Green is back, but Brendan Gant is. So my guess is your starting safeties, again, will be Akeem Dent and Jamie Robinson, which, I think Akeem's played pretty well. I mean, he's in practice this week. He was running with the ones and still breaking up passes, not picking them off. Intercepting them is not really his thing, but he and Jamie Robinson look pretty comfortable back there at safety.
Yeah, I'll ask another question here just about practice this week. I talked to you off the official chat or off the website, Ira. It was spirited. They're ready to go. How would you rate this week's practice, though, intensity-wise, compared to, say, the North Carolina week or last week against UMass? Obviously, it's a better opponent than UMass, but you've been able to judge them because you've been there every single day that we've been allowed to go to practice. How would you rate this week for a lock-in factor, intensity, all that kind of stuff?
Really good. I mean, I really do. I think they've had really good practices, and it's a combination of the energy's been good, the focus has been good, and I also think, man, these guys really believe. I mean, they really believe in each other. And you could just see them in pregame warm-ups. I mean, the way they're carrying themselves, not over the top, but just, they're a confident football team right now. And I'll tell you what, this has been a cool atmosphere. I was telling Corey, this has probably been the best pregame atmosphere that I've been to for a Florida State game, maybe since that Virginia Tech game, where I know these aren't two great teams. They're both about 500. It's a battle to see who can be 500, maybe, but it's again, maybe because Florida State's playing better, but it just feels like there's more juice around this team this whole week, and certainly going into this game.
Ira, have you had a chance to talk to Clemson fans at all while you were there? Have you spoken to anybody about their team? I'm kind of curious. We all have an opinion of what we're seeing from Clemson, and maybe we're projecting some to what Florida State went through. And it began with poor offensive line play, and then some disconnect between the coaches and the players, and then guys entering the transfer portal. Now, you're seeing all these things with Clemson, And I think for us as Noles, everybody's going, yep, it's happening. It's happening. But that may not be it. It may not be toxic. I don't know. It could be something else. Have you spoken to any of their fans about what they think the problem is?
It's hang on. For some reason, Ira's audio is there we go. Go for it, Ira.
We're getting clicked out.
Yeah, we sure are. There we go. We should be good now.
All right. The just the sense I get is that they're just looking for answers. I mean, they don't understand what's going wrong. I don't think anybody really has a firm idea. A lot of people are now questioning, some of the offensive coaching. They're questioning some of the, personnel. But I just think it's still at that searching for answer standpoint. I will say this, man. I was curious what the crowd was going to be like. The tailgating, they were there early. In fact, when we were on the media shuttle coming over, the driver actually commented about how early a lot of the fans were out for the game. It's not like they've abandoned this season. I mean, I do think it's going to be a pretty decent crowd here today.
All right. Well, it sounds like the Gremlins are starting to act up with the Wi-Fi there. But Ira, man, we really appreciate the insights from stadium side. They're in the press box today, everybody. We'll talk to Ira in the post-game show, Ira or Corey. Thanks again to the 5-star. That's the news we wanted to hear, everybody. Dylan Gibbons is taking warm-ups with the first team. DLT, Devontae Love-Taylor, is taking warm-ups with the first team. That's really good news, buddy.
Yeah, it's really good news. Let's hope he can go. I know he's trying to give it a go. That's absolutely massive. Thank you, Nikki. Appreciate you joining and watching our coverage. It's a pleasure to be able to do this for you guys. And it's great that we were able to connect with Ira and Corey there. I think they're going to see a good game. I do. I've thought that all week long. I thought that even though I leaned towards Clemson, I did think that we were going to be in a one-score game in the fourth quarter, and I still think that. And if that's the case, then that's anybody's game. And so hopefully our guys just take it. I don't think we can come outside of who – I've said it before, I'll say it again. We cannot come outside of who we are. Any big play happens down the field is going to be the result of sticking to the run game and then dialing up a shot play. It's not going to be because suddenly – we feel comfortable blocking it up in a pass pro, and we're going to drop back and let our guy throw it around the lot. We don't have the receivers to do that, and he's not accurate enough as a passer. So I just be who you are, play some field position, and when you get a chance to dial it up, you got to make it count.
All right, so that was one of the other over-unders that I did pick on Warchant.com on the Sporting Noles feature. Jordan Travis, his rushing total for the game. You want to take a guess what their number is at in the Sharps? Because remember, sacks do take off your rushing yardage too.
Which is stupid.
Yeah, I know.
I would say 65.
Yeah, I thought it was off too. The number's 32.5.
That's terrible. Yeah,
that's 20 yards too low, isn't it?
Oh, easily. He'll probably do that on one broken run.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
and the thing is, how many times are we going to drop him back? Like, if you're running the game plan that you want to run, 15 dropbacks, 20 dropbacks at most. I mean, you don't want to have him back there 30 times because only bad things can happen. And that's not necessarily a knock on Jordan's arm. It's, that's Clemson's defensive front. You don't want him to have to read things. You want to run the hell out of the ball, throw it off a play action, and roll him out.
I'll answer some of these questions here. First of all, Eric, thank you very much, as always. He was complimentary of the Noles and us, Tom. That was nice. And then also, I would say this. Somebody else asked a question about, hey, let's do this. I'll go back to this. He mentioned the media shuttle. Tell me you didn't get a kick out of that in the moment. Tell me you didn't start to smile there.
8 years ago for Clemson Week, we had an experience with the media shuttle. Come on, man. It's story time. There's a couple of things. I'll set the stage.
Okay.
So, Jeff and I get the parking pass for the media credentials. We were there, the two of us, and our promotions assistant, Alicia, went up for the game. And she went off to go find friends for a tailgate. And we had stopped at a gas station beforehand. Yeah. Got a 12-pack of BL. And the reason that I'm telling you that is, well, they actually sponsor our proper pregame show, so I can tell you that the Bud Light, great people. But I grabbed the 8-ounces by mistake. We opened up. We're having a game day beer. We got there, what do you think, 3 hours before kickoff? I mean, it was early, 4 hours.
Yeah. Now, for starters, let's point out the fact that this is incredibly unprofessional on Tom and I's part to be drinking beer in the media lot But
We were in radio, and the people screwed us earlier in the week. They tried to, so we were not going to respect.
Listen, I'm not going to apologize. I had planned on drinking for that game anyhow, and I had planned on trying to get down onto the field for that game. And we got pretty fortunate. So we are there. We have those. It's generally frowned upon to be in the media lot as a media member, having a tasty ice cold beverage before you walk into the game. But this was 2013, and Florida State, we thought, and I had just got done talking about for 2 weeks. Luckily, somebody documented those conversations and put together one hell of a YouTube video that still people retweet at me all the time.
Yep.
I really thought Jameis was about to show the world that his was bigger and that it was going to be a dominating day. And so I was excited. And I'll tell you this, Jimbo Fisher and I, if we're going to really get into this story, Jimbo Fisher and I that week had a very long conversation before my interview. And you've heard that because you helped edit and put together all of our interviews.
The things these ears have heard, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So he and I had a conversation, and he could not have been more confident. And it was interesting. He said to me, Jeff, I'm not saying this publicly, but I think there's a chance we go up there and blow them out. And I'll give him credit. I mean, he said that to me. He said, I think there's a chance we go up there and blow them out. If we're not too awed by that crowd in that moment at night, we're the better team. And I think we can win big. And he never did that. Just so people know, he never did that. He never said things like that to me. He never, first guessed to that, that deal. So he really was confident. And then that further emboldened me and excited me. And I was like, man, about to put it on, Clemson. Here we go. And so we knew, you and me and Alicia, we were all driving together.
Yep.
And we got those 2 hotel rooms. Remember that? We were all set there. And actually 3 hotel rooms. We all had our own room. It was 3. But we got the hotel rooms, and we knew we were going to be there for the night. We weren't going to have to drive around anywhere and all that good stuff. We go over to the parking lot. It's a good time. And you find out that you've got the 8-ounce beers. Luckily, there's 12 of them.
Look like we're Andre the Giant, and enjoying.
Yeah, holding it. And my favorite part was they come in waves. So if you want to be there in the stadium really early as a member of the media, you can be there a couple of hours before they kick off, which there's no reason for that, really. So we're like, so the bus comes around. We're trying to hide our beers. There's some other media people there and all that.
I guess we're trying to hide them. You're cranking.
The first couple of times we were hiding the beers, and the guy stops. And we're waving him on. Oh, we're good, brother. We're good. We'll get you on the next one.
Yeah.
And so then he leaves. He drives off, and we had the music going. We were having a good time. We were drinking some more beers, and then all of a sudden, comes back around. We still had some beers to kill. We're like, no, we're good. We're good. So long story short, we missed the last media bus. There was no. They had come around.
We chose not to take it. We didn't miss it. He found us every time.
I think at one point they kind of gave up. And they're like, okay, those 2 gentlemen have just decided not to take the media shuttle. And the reason you have to take the media shuttle because they make you park so damn far away, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a hike. Yeah,
it's a hike. So then we walked our way through the parking lot, where I won't say something that we saw, if you recall.
Correct. That you don't even. Yeah,
I'll leave that out.
Yep.
And then we went, and then we walked our way into the stadium, and they proceeded to tell us. Something to the effect of we weren't allowed to be where we were, even though we had our passes, because that hillbilly that kind of runs their, that fat ass that runs their media department there, he wasn't having it. He was furious that
no comment.
Yeah, and so he would not tell us. By the way, Michigan State has just scored. It's 30-28. We got a war. I knew this game.
They're coming back. Wow.
No, it's 30-28.
Michigan had pulled away by a couple of scores. Okay, I see you, Sparty.
There you go. Get that game on, buddy. It's a good game.
Well, okay, let me give you real quick. Oh, my goodness. All right, so Miami was driving right down the field 38-34. They threw a red zone pick. I didn't see the play, but somebody put that in the chat, and then sure enough, I pulled up the tab over here. Pitt is now driven down the field. They just got a big play. Looked like a throw to the tight end. I don't know who they hit, but they're
from the Miami 49.
Yeah, it's now 1st and 10 Pitt inside the 25.
Okay, nice. Pitt. So, hey, listen, let me say, I'll finish up the story here real quick. So what ended up happening was, Oh, we've got a tie ball game, folks. Tied at 30, Michigan State, Michigan.
A safety?
They were going for 2, and they got it.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Oh man, no, this is on. This is amazing game. Anyhow, so this want to come back for Sparty. So circling back, they told us that we could not, I guess, stay where we were in the press box, even though we had our passes with us.
Yeah.
And the guy was ridiculous, and so I don't know why I decided we both did simultaneously. I walked down onto the field, and nobody said anything, and so did you.
Well, you're allowed to when they run down the hill. You're allowed to do that for media opportunities. So yeah, we took advantage of that.
And nobody said anything to me, and so I'm standing for the entire game right next to Florida State's bench. I'm basically on Florida State's bench and just trying to stay out of the way of the coaches and all that. At one point, Jimbo Fisher is walking down the sideline, looks over and looks right in my eyes, and it's like this bewildered, what the hell are you doing here look? But he doesn't say anything. He just kind of smiles and nods and walks away. So that game for me will always be etched in memory because of the things I heard, some of the things I saw. But the stuff that I saw was the most satisfying stuff that I saw was probably the sinking realization on Clemson fans' faces about midway through the second quarter, because they're right on top of the bench there. It goes right there. And I turned around after Jameis threw another touchdown, and one of our assistants, not one of the main coaches, but somebody who's an assistant to an assistant, I guess, turned around and said to the Clemson fans, "He's only a freshman. He's only a freshman." And it was so awesome. It was incredible. Bill Bassett just told us that Miami picked off Pitt.
Well, they're reviewing it, I think. It looked like as the Miami defender was coming up, he might have bobbled if the ball came out, it fell to the ground. So it's a question of, did he secure it, get down, plays over, or is the process having to be complete? But yeah, it was 1st and 10 at the 25. Pitt took a sack, and then there was a miscommunication. Pickett threw it up the seam, and the receiver broke off on the post. So it looked like
review. Long story short, I stayed there. You are in the picture of Kelvin Benjamin's touchdown in the corner of the end zone. It cracks me up every time I see that picture. There you are. You're taking a picture of it.
I was trying to get the video of it, and I didn't hit the record button because I was so in awe of how high in the air Kelvin Benjamin was. Like, his hip, I'm just under 6 feet tall. His hip is like cleared me by 6-7 inches. He's just like, he's spinning in the sky. I'm like, what in the hell is this? And then I was also front and center for the Mario Edwards Jr. return on the fumble.
Yeah.
And that was right there. I was like, oh my God. And the state troopers I was standing next to were South Carolina fans. And I told them about the experience in the press box. I didn't know it yet. I told them about the experience in the press box. Like, oh, that sounds about right. We're Gamecock fans anyway. You can stay down here as long as you want. I was like, my man, thank you very much. So
so we had great memories there. And then we were blaring the music afterwards, and we had a great time. I'd like to get back to those days where you could go into Clemson and feel pretty confident about a win. I don't know that today's that day, but it's nice talking about a Florida State road game against Clemson again, where you feel like there's an opportunity to win a damn football game. And so, we're reliving yesteryear, if only because, it was the last time we went up there and felt really good about things. So it's nice just to know that there's a fighting chance today. And, here we are now, just 15, 20 minutes away from this thing getting started.
Yeah, I could tell you a couple of updates. Ira texted me a couple more things. We had a question about the weather. We talked about that earlier on, but Ira says it's overcast, cool between 50, 60 degrees in the temperature. Small chance of rain, but nothing yet from warm-ups to this point. And then also they announced, Clemson did, DJ Uiagalelei is going to be the starting quarterback, and Ira said there were noticeable groans in the crowd when that happened. Third thing, they upheld the Miami interception. Miami 1st and 10 from their 2. They just got stopped just outside the goal line. It's 4 minutes to go. Pitt needs a stand here in order to be able to win the football game. But if you're looking for Pitt to cover, that ain't happening with a 4-point game. There's no way this thing's going to overtime.
I didn't bet that game, and it looks like our friend Lee Sterling will be correct on that one. Why don't we do, for those that are only tuned into the chat, we can give you a little bit of a scoreboard update at this point. And kind of catch you up where everybody is. One-stop shop here, as I mentioned earlier, with about 12 minutes to play. Michigan and Michigan State are tied at 30. Wisconsin and Iowa 27-7. Wisconsin is ending any hopes or dreams of a good season for Iowa, one that began so promising. But I'll tell you, that Petrus kid is terrible for them. That's just a bad offense. Wisconsin is going to win and cover easily. Baylor 31-24, thanks to a 14-point fourth quarter for Baylor. Texas has the ball with $1:54 to play. You mentioned the Miami-Pitt game. West Virginia leading Iowa State late in the second quarter, 17-14. Cincinnati kind of sleepwalked through their win over Tulane today, 31-12.
Yep.
Really didn't look good. It was 14-12 at halftime. That's not smart for the number 2 team in the country. This is 2 weeks in a row. But now we get down to the good stuff, obviously. When Florida State takes the field against Clemson, we'll get Georgia, Florida, Texas Tech, Oklahoma, which whatever. But Ole Miss, Auburn later on tonight, I'm excited about. A lot of good games, a lot of fun still to be had on a football Saturday.
Interesting things afoot. They're now reviewing this first down play from Miami to see whether or not it was a safety in the end zone. It is a bizarre game.
How would they? Wait, I'm confused. Oh, okay. So it was
Miami. Yeah, Miami's interception was upheld. It was 1st and 10 from the 2. And they're now reviewing to see if the Miami ball carrier ever got out of the end zone. And it looks like he didn't. But you never know with ACC officials. So we'll see what the ruling is. But that would put the ball back in Pitt's hands where a field goal would be enough to win the football game. Crazy stuff going on.
Hey, Mizzou Ranger, I see you, buddy. Tip of the cap live from Brussels, Belgium. Good on you.
Oh, really?
Good on you. There you go. Yeah. Not far from where my dad was stationed. So
you were born in Belgium, weren't you? Or no, Holland. You were born in Holland.
I was born in Heerlen, Holland. Yeah. Lived there until I was, 4, something like that. Vague memories of a very foggy place.
I'm not trying to get your identity stolen, but what's the first digit of your social? Because it's usually coded by where you're born. So
it's a 5.
Okay, yeah. When you're born internationally, I don't know. Is 5 the number when you're born abroad as an Army brat?
I know a lot of people whose first is a 5, so I think it's yeah. They're saying no safety now. Wow.
Yeah, that's the ACC for you.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see the replay. I'm watching this Michigan State-Michigan game, and it's 30-30, and they are out here hitting some jokers. This is fun.
Can we also just talk about how Pitt, very briefly, because we love uniform talk here. The Noles, by the way, gold helmets, white on white for the roadies, same uniforms they wore for the North Carolina victory a couple of weeks ago. Can we talk about how Pitt has just absolutely
fumble Michigan, and the kid could have picked it up and scored, but he dropped it and it went out of bounds. Damn it.
Oh, my God. Do you have interest in that, or are you just playing for you just want Michigan State to win because?
I like Michigan State. I always have. And I did think about taking Michigan State plus 4.5, which had I done that, and this kid drops this fumble right in his hands for a scoop and score, I would be very angry right now. but yeah.
Yeah, so how about Pitt and going back to the throwback uniform, instead of those gold and navy, they are now just royal blue and yellow, mustard yellow.
So beautiful. I was at the University of Pittsburgh this summer. I was there with my 2 boys, and we went into the bookstore on campus there. I really like their campus. It's in the heart of the city of Pittsburgh, but we went in there, and I was very tempted because of the color scheme being so badass. Really tempted to put on to buy one of the long sleeve Pitt shirts, one of the old school with the yellow font with the baby blue, or whatever blue that is. I love that blue. I almost bought one, and people would have been like, "Well, you have no connection to." I don't have a connection to Pitt. I just like the uniforms that much, and the shirt looked awesome.
Yeah, and their numbers are excellent too. They've got the pointed look to them. Everything about what they do. And also just what happened here was 2nd and 11, no safety, pure ACC, man. So first of all, you have that call, and it's I don't know about that one. And then, the drop back for Van Dyke. He throws the ball down the field. The ACC network camera zooms in on Van Dyke as he's letting go of the ball and never leaves him. The ball's down the field. You have no idea what's happening on the play. And it ends up being a gain of about 15, 20 yards for Miami, first down. So they're a couple first downs away. But the ACC is going all out today. Thank God we're on ESPN. I heard through the grapevine, through one of our mutual friends in TV, by the way, for next week against NC State. ACC Network, it's like minus 5,000 that is going to be on that channel again. And we're looking at a 4 or 7:30 kickoff. Those are the two primary options if college football doesn't go haywire. But those are the two kickoff times on ACC Network that we're looking at.
So 4 or 7:30 on the ACC Network. Luckily, we'll be at the game, so I'm not going to have to deal with that. But you won't be, but I will be at the game. I'm not going to be watching it. Michigan to take the lead on a field goal. The kick is up, and it is good with 9:20 to play. It's 33-30 Michigan. Michigan State getting the ball back with just over 9 minutes to play. Good game.
So to recap here on the Florida State side of things, they took warm-ups. There are no notable absences. We've been playing the safety shuffle game all season long with who's available in the defensive backfield, but it looks like Jamie Robinson and Brendan Gant are going to be the safeties today, and it looks like Sidney Williams did not dress out for today's action. But what you all want to know if you're just tuning in right here to Warchant TV, Dylan Gibbons, yes, he took warm-ups. Devontae Love-Taylor, yes, he took warm-ups. Both took warm-ups with the first team. We're not 100% certain. It's not a game-time decision, and they were going through warm-ups to see how they're doing. But the good news is they're not in street clothes. They took warm-ups. So it looks like the offensive line could be at full strength with one reserve and Bavion Johnson if anything occurs in the course of the action today. That's really big news for our chances of winning the football game.
Huge news, and let's just hope that the pulling action we've seen from our guards is in place here today, because that is something that is so critical to what we do, kind of changing the gap, play to play, and flanking a defensive opponent. We do it a lot, and we're really good at it. And Norvell was good at it in Memphis, so I think that's critical today to be able to stay in this game, because I know you can't block it up in pass pro. So.
And again, here's the first team offensive line through warmups. Remember, a couple of weeks ago, they switched in the depth chart. Robert Scott went back to left tackle, and Darius Washington was at right. But against UMass, that's not how it played out. Darius played left, and Robert stayed at right tackle, which is where he came back to when he was on the mend. That's the way it's staying today. Your first team offensive line rushes before the game. Darius Washington, Dylan Gibbons, Maurice Smith, DLT, Robert Scott, left to right. Those are your 5 guys. So hopefully they got through warm-ups okay. The medical people and the players themselves say thumbs up, and these are the 5 we got.
Baylor has knocked off Texas. A tough first year there in Texas for Longhorns, who started off probably feeling pretty good about themselves. They lose today to Baylor, 31-24. That's an aside. That game just went final. I had it down here in this little corner, so I was able to see that. So I'm not surprised by that outcome.
Here's another pregame prop for you that I bet on warchant.com for Sporting Noles. Will Shipley's rushing total, the number that they set was 49.5 yards. What do you think?
49.5. I'm going over.
Yeah. I did as well. He can break a big one. But the thing is, if you look at, and Pro Football Focus is awesome about this, man, where they show you so many in-depth things, whether it's coverage, receiving, but running backs, they show you what gap they run through consistently, where they go. And Will Shipley, for the most part this season, runs in the A-gaps between the guards, right up the middle of the field. Bockhorst is hurt. They've got a mash unit as it is in the middle of the offensive line. That would be the interesting matchup there. Might be where this number is influenced. If they still want to run inside zone with Will Shipley and he needs to run between the guards, that's the matchup that's going to dictate whether or not Clemson scores in the 20s today or not. Is if our defensive interior can control that line, then maybe Shipley's not going to be the guy who runs for the highest total. Maybe it's DJ or Pumachan, the quarterback.
Yeah, you got to tackle him, by the way. You cannot arm tackle that kid. You've got to tackle him, because if he stays on his feet with that initial hit, he is a quick dude, and you could be in trouble. A 4-yard gain could be an 80-yard gain pretty quickly. You got to tackle.
Yeah. Interesting finish here in Pitt. There's another replay review. It looks like it might be 4th down Miami, 2:39 to go. That game is going to take us past kickoff of our own game, it would appear, on the ACC network. We're kicking off on ESPN. I don't know. Let me take a look at ESPN.com. You don't ever want our game to get bumped and put on an app to begin. That's the worst thing in the world. And I know our friends who are in the restaurant business hate that more than anything else. They've got to, pivot to, they set up all their TVs and then they got to change like 50 of them right at kickoff. But it looks like obviously Michigan State's going to go well into the 3:30 window, and Pitt Miami has just come to a logjam with all these replay reviews. There was a fumble in the open field as Miami picked up a first down, but the fumble rolls out of bounds short of the line to gain and went backwards. So where do you spot the ball? Do you give Miami the football past the 30-yard line with a first down, or do you spot it at the 28 short of the line to gain? Bizarre finish in Heinz Field.
Well, I don't have a good feel for they're saying 4th and 1 for Miami at the 28 here.
Is that right? I mean, from my team, I'm on YouTube TV, so they're still reviewing it, and they have now gotten to the point on the ACC network. They got the all 22 cam, and they're doing a rotation back and forth of where the ball crosses out of bounds. It was come to a complete halt.
I think it's 4th and 1. But I don't listen. I'm done worrying about them. We've spent too much time on this. I am now ready to watch our game and to lock in solely with our game. I've only had the one sip. We're about to have sip number 2.
Yeah.
Got to get lubricated and ready to go here. Keep it locked in. Tommy, I know you're going to be doing the post game, obviously, with Gene. Let's hope that we're all smiles as we tune in to the post game show on Warchant TV. A chance, there it is, post game call-in show. You guys usually hit the airwaves around 10 minutes after the game.
That's correct.
And I got to tell you, I've had some fun when those things have started up lately. I've tuned in. I had it on in the background while I was watching another game. I can't do it after losses. I don't watch after losses. That doesn't mean you guys can't, but I can't do it.
One of the hardest things I've ever had to do professionally speaking, and this is not, like a tough life event, but after the J-State game happens, I'm waiting. I'm like, there are no flags on the field. We're good here. This game, that just happened. That's real. And then you see the house. I walk up the steps, come to my office. This is on the 2nd floor. And as I'm walking up those 16 steps, I'm counting them. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. We're about to do a call-in show, and we just lost to J-State. Hopefully today is the exact opposite experience. Hopefully everybody, like you said, is getting lubricated up, going to enjoy the game, and we have some fiery phone calls after a big win on the road.
Oh, buddy. The celebratory phone calls is what that would be to end a losing streak.
Yeah,
to be 500. It's a first down for Miami. That game is probably over.
Yeah.
To be able to win this game, I mean, I don't think I can overstate it. I know Clemson's not having a good year, but look where we were 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I mean, it'd be huge. It'd be huge. I hope. Bottom line is this. Look, obviously, everybody gets it. You want to win the game. Desperately want to win the game. Losing sucks. All that stuff is true. Play well, guys. Play well. Continue down that path of playing good football. If this team's not ready to win this game, okay, that's unfortunate. But play well. Let's keep this momentum going.
So if Florida State does score the victory today, in our last couple of minutes here on the warchant.com pregame chat, thanks to everybody who's participated, by the way, and our thanks to Ira Schafel for joining us from Stadium side and giving us updates. If Florida State scores the win today, who are the one or two players that we're going to be talking about in the postgame show and on the JCS on Monday, 1 p.m. right here on Warchant TV?
Well, the first player we'll be talking about is Jordan Travis. It'll be Jordan Travis. It's going to be his game. He's got to protect the football, and he's got to run his ass off. And then I think on the other side of the ball, yes, I see people pointing out Fabian Lovett's a good choice. I think that Keir Thomas is a good choice. Jermaine Thomas is a good choice. I mean, it will be because they are wreaking havoc. And really just blowing up this Clemson offensive line. So it could be any one of those guys up front.
Yeah, to me, again, because of the special attention that Clemson has to pay to the interior of the offensive line, that should put Keir Thomas or Jermaine Johnson in a position to eat today. And if they do, buddy, this could get real fun real fast. If the fans are already groaning in the stands when DJ's announced pregame as the starter, you can turn that building against Clemson real freaking fast if they go 3 and out 2 of their first 3 drives and you score in between that.
As we say goodbye and we say thank you, and thank you to Troy. I appreciate you out in Wyoming. Good job, brother. I would just say this, Tom. If the Noles win, I will call in post-game and give you a woo suck at Clemson.
You want to call in, or do you just want the link and you want to join us from your living room? It might sound funnier as a call.
I may just call and then woo suck at Clemson for everybody, and then we'll be moving it on. And Michigan just fumbled. Yes.
Miami win, victory formation for Miami. So Michigan fumble. Where's the ball?
Michigan fumbled at about midfield. Michigan State's got it. And, Michigan State's ball on the 45. We got great football.
Man. Here's hoping people are laughing about us because things are good in the Noles world. Before we go, one final reminder, post-game show 10 to 15 minutes after the game. And tomorrow night, a special time. Let me pull down that comment real quick. The Sunday Smash Halloween edition, 6 p.m., not 7 p.m. It's an hour earlier so the kids can go trick-or-treat. That's what's coming up on warchant.com. If you have not done so already, please like and subscribe to our channel. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. You'll be alerted every time we go live with more great content if you hit the bell right next to the subscribe button. So
enjoyed it, everybody.
Yeah.
Go Noles. Be well. Cheers. And let's hope we're all celebrating in a few hours. Take care, everybody.
Cheers, everybody. Talk to you post.